ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. In this video, let us examine who is a disciple on the spiritual path. Generally, people acquire knowledge before embarking on a spiritual journey. But the knowledge, whatever is acquired, gives a false impression that I know what the truth is. So, having come to a false conclusion about the truth, so many people want to make a journey with preconceived notions. But the truth is an existential experience. It cannot be given by anybody. It comes only through an experience. That's why to become a disciple, one has to unlearn whatever he has gathered from various sources and stored as knowledge. So, the knowledge one acquires has to be unlearned first, and that is the precondition to become a disciple. It is for your own good. See, knowledge makes you ignorant, but innocence fills you with faith, trust and surrender to the man of wisdom or a master. You see, in this regard, there was a famous Sufi saint, Jusia. So, there is one interesting incident which had happened in his time. He was wandering on the streets in Germany. So, because of his outlook, because you know how a saint looks outside. So, when he was wandering on the streets, the elders have ridiculed him. So, then the children who were playing also started ridiculing him because their elders have ridiculed him. That cool and quiet saint has asked the children to come and see in his eyes. So they thought that he is going to show something. That's why they became interested and they formed the circle around him, and he was standing in the middle. Then he asked the children to look into his eyes straight. So the saint looked at the eyes of each child, and after the circle is completed, he asked them to go home. So they all left and went to their homes. So after reaching their homes, the mothers of the respective children wanted them to take food served on the plates. So one child said to the mother that the plate is not clean, that's why he will not take the food. Then in another house, another child told his mother that there is meat in the food, I will not eat. So in another house, another child similarly refused the food on some pretext or other like this. The mothers, they all got worried and surprised at the behavior of the children. So they gathered and they exchanged the behavior of their children, and the behavior of all the children were similar, because then they thought that these boys were outside and were with the saint. So they thought something had happened to the children, because the children's behavior has changed a lot. They became pious and they are talking in a virtuous way, and what they spoke is the truth. So all mothers, they thought that the saint was really a great man, and they have unnecessarily ridiculed him, and they are frightened because he is so powerful that he may do anything to them. That's why the all elders went to him and pleaded mercy, asked him to forgive them. The saint smiled and quietly forgave them. But the saint asked the elders also to look into his eyes, but the elders bowed down and left without looking into his eyes, lest he may do something like he did for their children. So the point here here is when the saint looked straight into the eyes of the children, his something of his purity, something of his holiness flowed into the children. So that remarkable change was visible in the attitude and behavior of the children thereafter. So the truth has to be experienced. To become a disciple, one has to unlearn. You see, what are the barriers to become a disciple? It is knowledge in the form of ignorance, and hidden in this attitude is the feeling of ego that I know. So when people start searching for truth, as it cannot be given by anybody, so people will be spending their entire life only in search of it, unless they become innocent, far away from knowledge. They cannot become disciples to be nearer to a master. The master will make available the truth to you. He also cannot give you the truth in words. He makes the truth available to you, and you undergo an existential experience. Once you undergo and experience that truth, then your attitude, your behavior entirely undergoes a sea change. So anybody can tell you or can give you anything in kind or word, but only the enlightened one can give you the experience of truth. So the life is mysterious, but we want to demystify it with our knowledge. However, you may try to demystify the life, it is only mysterious and cannot be known by knowledge accrued from outside. See, it is like this. People go on praying. Millions of people go to various temples in various religions. They go, they do all the rituals, but the rituals, they do it as a duty without putting their heart in it. So, when they, whatever they do it, and irrespective of the period they spent in such kind of rituals, you find no transformation in them and they remain the same, because the prayer has no fragrance of love and compassion. Because you can see yourself in the world around you, and you wonder, people who are in search of the truth and who are making a journey on the spiritual path, they remain the same without any transformation. So, the prayer doesn't require any place. What you pray is not to be heard. The prayer, the content becomes a communion to the Lord. So, such kind of prayer has no visible outside fragrance, but only influences with peace the surroundings of that place where you pray. So, the prayer, whatever you do, it has to come out of love towards the Lord. So, when your prayer, when your prayer is filled with the quest for truth, then Master, an enlightened soul enters in your life. It may be in form or it may be in invisible form. Only in times of darkness, in times of difficult times, in times of misery, illness and suffering, acute suffering, it happens. Because in those times, every man tries to look inward, a step inward, to find the cause for his suffering. When that cause is invisible and could not be traced, but in that journey, the Master appears in those difficult times to help you to make you realize that there is an omnipotent, omniscient, higher power is operating and is responsible for the creation, maintenance, and extinction of this universe. So, when you come to know of that higher power and its ways of functions and how merciful it is towards its own creation, then that kind of light of knowledge is flooded with you and in you. You come to know that merciful hand is guiding you, is leading you to your own path. So, through that visible master, and that master guides you when you unlearn your knowledge, drops off your ego and surrender yourself at his infinite wisdom with faith and love. So, disciple is the one who becomes empty of his accumulations and becomes one with the dust particle at the feet of the master. So, thank you.